Of course, during the long summer holiday, the sessions were always popular. The most we ever had was 35, if I remember rightly. We had to push dinosaurs right back against the wall to fit them all in, and Malcolm popped up to the adult reading rooms and rounded up some chairs for the few parents that wanted to stay. Green Smoke I read from. Not the whole thing, obviously, but some lovely extracts. A Dog So Small, Philippa Pierce. Yes, they were old stories. I remember reading them as a kiddie, but they're so captivating, both of them. I read some newer things too for the littlies. Frog's Bog, a new one we got in recently. They loved the pictures. But of course, come September, attendance drops off a cliff. So we just do Saturday mornings and a Tuesday and a Thursday for the toddlers. I first noticed him coming to the Saturday sessions, but I never saw him arrive. Come to think of it, I never saw him leave either. We'd get settled, usually about 8 or 10 regulars in term time, and then he'd appear. He'd stand at the end of the cosmos and wait until he could see there was no one else coming. Then he'd just squat down behind everyone. He wouldn't sit cross-legged with the others, no. He'd just bob down and hold his knees with his hands. And if any of the others moved, he'd stand up straight away and back away behind the shelf. Funny-looking lad he was. Curly hair, shaved right up the back of his neck. Little round glasses, grey shirt, grey shorts, socks, scruffy black shoes. It looked like a school uniform, but one that had seen better days. Like his clothes had been round the block a few times. Hand-me-downs, maybe. Bit dusty and a bit ragged. We were reading the Pooh books again, and I remember that last chapter. I'm pretty sure he was weeping. Can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure I saw him lift his sleeve to his cheeks. He'd never look directly at me, though. He'd look around at the others, and he'd look out the window or down at the carpet. Then when I started to wind the session up, he'd stand up and wander off between the shelves again. He wouldn't rush, but always the same, wandering off between the cosmos and world religions. Well, I was curious about his situation. No parents ever showed up. He never spoke to the other kiddies or to me, so I decided I should speak to him. He was such a regular after all. So one day I was determined to find him after the session and pin him down and find out a bit about him. As soon as I'd finished, I stood up, and sure enough, so did he, and as he stepped behind the shelf, I popped behind the Tudors and positively scampered through to the other end of the cosmos, poked my head round, but no sign. Just wasn't there. Very odd, I thought. I searched all through the environment and ancient times, between all the shelves and the living world, but no sign. I'm thinking he must have seen me and scooted back up the stairs and gone. So the next week, I caught Malcolm before the session. "Malcolm," I said, "have you seen the lad in the grey who comes every week?" "No, can't say I have," he said. "Oh, surely you have," I said. "Every week he comes and sits at the back, but then he goes without a word." "Really? Well, no, can't say I have." "Well, keep your eyes out for him this week, will you? I just want to have a little chat with him. Find out a bit about him." "Right, oh, Pat," he says. "I'll keep my eyes peeled." "Maybe," I said, "you could go and sit over by the cosmos. He often sits there. Well, squats. Take a chair over and keep your eye on him, will you?" "Right, oh, Pat." I should have known. I glanced up when we were halfway through Not Now Bernard, and sure enough, there was my little man. But Malcolm was sat on a beanbag, was fast asleep. I spoke a little louder, "Not now, Bernard!" but it was no good. And then when I looked up again, the lad had gone. "Did you see him, though?" I asked Malcolm afterwards. "See you?" said Malcolm. Never mind, I said. It was a month or so after that when young Richard Barnes found me at my desk. "Pa," he said, "do you know anything about the earthquake?" "What earthquake?" I said. He had a volume in his hands, old Partington pictures from yesteryear. This, he opened up the page that he'd kept with his thumb, an old black and white photo of a rubble-filled room, and then I realised it was the very building, the very library in which we were standing. The caption read, 1933, the most powerful earthquake to hit these shores for 250 years wrought carnage at Partington Children's Library. Injuries were numerous as the school party was in attendance, but fortunately only one fatality.